welcome back to Fast Market. I'm Alex Coffey alongside Kevin Hinks on this Friday morning with a little bit of market volatility here to close out the week, to close out the month. Kev, all things considered, though, S&P is down less than 0.5%. The NASDAQ 100, the laggard of the group, is down about 0.75%, but we started the day much lower. And Kev, when you're looking at this in the concept of the entire week, not just today, looking backwards, I know you're the resident optimist of the group, so I want to get, what is the positive takeaways of this week as we kind of look back on tons of potential market moving events and limited damage done, I would say?
My view on this week, like my view on everything is, Alex, is trading is sometimes and often batting average, right? If you make enough trades, you're going to have no-brainer winners and really tough losers where you got to adjust and defend and do all those things to support not only a winning position. That's the easy one, right? If you put on a position that makes money, that's the easy part of trading. It's when you're wrong, either defending a position or saving money. So I use this as a batting average, and guess what, Alex? Next week, just as big of a week in terms of earnings coming out and news with non-farm payrolls on Friday. So, I hope our viewers are blessed with good health and a very short memory, Alex.
And hey, I think they said, in Ted Lasso, what's the animal with the shortest memory? Is it the goldfish? So we're going to be goldfish this week.
Goldfish. Be a goldfish.
Be a goldfish. We'll come back next week, hopefully get some rest, and we'll hit the ground running here. But for now, I want to shift gears for our cash tag segment. I'd like to welcome in TD Ameritrade Network contributor Evelyn Baker. And joining us from LikeFolio.com is the VP of Research at LikeFolio.com, Megan Brantley. So good morning to both of you. Guys, we're talking Roblox. And so for many, this is maybe a newer name. We've covered it a few times. But Evelyn, I talked to resident TD Ameritrade Network gaming expert Oliver Rennick between programs. And the gist of it is this is kind of like your open source gaming developing company. And so in many ways, this is maybe the future of where things are going.
Hi, Alex. I think you're exactly right. What's important to note about Roblox is that it's not a game. It's a platform where users can create and build their own worlds, their own games, where other people can actually come play on, and where people can actually make money off of these games that they develop within the Roblox platform. So it's actually a really exciting company, and I got kind of far down the rabbit hole watching YouTube videos to see how they compare to Minecraft, because I think Minecraft is the one that everybody knows. But what's important to note is that Roblox actually came out before Minecraft. It came out in 2006, but development started back in the 90s. I went down a rabbit hole, but I won't bring you down there with me. I want to introduce my first tweet for you guys today. From the parents' perspective, letting their kids play Roblox. This Twitter user says that Roblox is a great game. All my kids, 12, 9, 7, and 5, play together. If you spend a little time curating the feed of games at the start and putting parental controls on, you might like it. Very popular among elementary age kids. So one data point I found online is that 3 out of 4 children between the ages of 9 and 12 are playing Roblox. And as of Roblox's first quarter of this year, they had over 42.1 million daily active users of Roblox games worldwide. So they have a ton of interaction. It's incredibly popular. It seems like Roblox is the platform for video games for these younger age kids. But another YouTuber referred to Roblox more as like Legos than traditional video games, so that there's also appeal to older audiences as well. My second tweet, though, is more from the users, the kids' perspective. This Twitter user said, anyways, if I disappear, it's because of YouTube or Minecraft or Roblox. So some users clearly use both Minecraft and Roblox, but there is a historic rivalry between the two of them. Like I said, Roblox did predate Minecraft, and Minecraft was actually produced by a Swedish company called Mojang Studios, which was later bought by Microsoft for like $2.5 billion back in 2014, I think. And Minecraft is enormously popular. It's been the biggest sold game for a couple of years, I think. And the difference here is that Minecraft is sold as a game, whereas Roblox is free to download and free to play with in-app purchases. So Megan, I'm really curious as to what your data shows for the popularity between Roblox and Minecraft, and if Roblox can even compete with Minecraft since it is free really to play and download.
Yeah, I think you make a really good point. This is almost like an apples to oranges comparison whenever you talk about the model that they're presenting. Because when we look at Roblox, how they're generating their revenue is mostly through these in-game transactions. And then also through, there are some upgrades in the games that you can do outside of just like Robux. That's their digital currency, if you will. And it's kind of cool to watch this growth. This is a relatively newly publicly traded company, and you can see this on this chart, but this is the buzz, the number of consumers who are talking about Roblox. And what's impressive is when you look at this, that blue line, you can see those mentions are actually 2% higher year over year. And this is really rare for us. A lot of times I feel like when we come to talk to you guys, we're talking about, okay, these year over year comps are just really, really hard. So we're placing a goalpost versus 2019. But for Roblox, this is a company that we're starting to see, this continued upward trajectory, this continued adoption. And I think that this is really important. If you look on the very, very far right too, you'll see that after a little bit of tempering into the summer, we're starting to see an uptick in buzz again. And we're seeing that translate into gameplay mentions as well. And so this is one where I don't think that they report earnings for a couple of weeks, but they're starting to gain some, refreshed or re-energized traction with consumers. So it's definitely one that caught our eye.
Megan, like Evelyn said when she read her tweet, this is a top gaming location for 18 and under young kids, right? I think Evelyn's name was 12, 9, 7, and 5 that she said. 18 and under are a lot of this people that hang out on this site, but they're doing things to get that age up with Netflix and Disney. They've got some strategic partnerships. But my question is, this is, in my opinion, and I'm parent to two of these, video game computer head kids, and this seems like the evolution of video games. That they don't just want to play their game, they want to create a game to play and do their own thing. And that's what I think this company makes them so explosive. But my question to you, do you have any breakdown of the age demographic that this company is? Because my fear for their growth is, two things. Number one, post-pandemic, is it going to be as strong? And number two, 12, 9, 7, and 5-year-olds don't have a debit card. Megan?
I think that one really positive thing is those 12, 9, and 7-year-olds probably don't have a Twitter either, which I'm hoping that they don't. So a lot of the mentions that we're capturing these older users. We're capturing these users that are over the age of 13. And when you look at this, they really significantly grew this piece of their audience pie on the last report. I think now around 49% of Roblox's user base are over the age of 13, which this is critical because also those users that are older have money to spend on those in-game transactions like we talked about, or at least they have more control over what they want to spend in this game experience. And I think one thing that's positive here is you can see these gameplay mentions really continuing to grow. You can see that obviously, the pandemic and lockdown was a huge catalyst for Roblox. There was a lot of discovery, but the fact that these mentions now on that chart, I think they're pacing about 6% higher year over year. So is this a slowdown in growth versus last year? Absolutely. But the fact that they're still growing and they're still, engaging these consumers and keeping them involved, and that this base does tend on our data to trend a little bit older, I think those are all really positive signs for Roblox.
Completely agree. And first off, I think Evelyn did a far better job of explaining what this company did than I could ever do. So I appreciate that. But one of the tweets also mentioned it was kind of from the parents' perspective of signing off on this and saying that, this is actually a great, way for my children to actually play video games in a way that I approve. And because it has that no barrier to entry in the sense that it's free to actually download and get into, and then they nickel and dime you after the fact, it actually could benefit to have, hey, a 99-cent purchase here isn't going to, shake anybody up. And so all of a sudden you're 30 of those in, you've spent $30 in the first week, that kind of Fortnite effect that we saw within the video game space. But Megan, my question to you is a little bit more in kind of the theoretical kind of nature of where things in general are going, because we've seen this huge disruption within the financial world with things like cryptocurrencies and digital assets, this digital kind of decentralization, and that's the big selling point. The same thing with things like Shopify and what they've done to online merchants, and not making it this giant, giant super centers like Walmart and Target, giving, kind of this decentralized approach. It sounds like that's what RBLX is trying to do to video games, and that could really disrupt names like Take-Two or Activision that are in the traditional space. So as much as Roblox's success is important to Roblox, how worrisome is their success to other, traditional video game developers?
I think that you made some really good points. I love that you pick up on the big picture of this, because that's Roblox is trying to create what it calls a metaverse, which is just this entire like socially co-experience universe that you can go in, you can create games, you can experience games with other users. I think that this big picture view, this vision, is very different than when you look at, an Activision or a Take-Two, which tend to have more linear type games, which obviously, I think that it just depends on your personality, what you want to play. Obviously, there are a lot of different games underneath all of these umbrellas that users could play, but Roblox is the disruptor. They are the ones who are looking at this big picture, this big metaverse, this big, possibility for digital transactions to really even engage in brands. Just for an example, I was reading about there is a Gucci purse that was sold on Roblox, a digital version of this Gucci purse, for more than the actual purse was worth, the physical purse. So I think that's insane, and that's just one example of an application of how Roblox could be more than just a quote unquote game, but could be a shared experience. And so this is one that I think definitely watch long term, especially as we continue to see this robust adoption from users.
I thought I had an idea of what was going on with this company. That might have just murked it up a little bit. So I got to look into this one a little bit more on what's going on here at Roblox. But Megan, one thing to note, and you mentioned this as well, not a lot of public trading history. It has had some volatility. This clearly was brought to our attention, your attention, because of the positivity in the mentions and things that you're seeing. Because of its kind of lack of historical trading, is this one where you have this long-term vision, but you're going to have some patience, because we got to find out where the public market prices this one. I guess my question to you is, with earnings in the middle of the month, not a lot of history to lean on, how are you guys perceiving this one as an investment, short, medium, long term?
I think long term, this is one of the names in our universe that looks the strongest whenever we look at all of these different companies that we cover. Roblox, from a long-term perspective in terms of consumer happiness and just overall growth, is outperforming most other companies. So long term, we really like this name. In the meantime, there is going to be some volatility. This is a new name. The market is trying to sort it out, just like you mentioned. I think that there could be perceived quote unquote, weakness if there is any type of, post-pandemic disengagement. I think that that's why you've seen shares slide in June, is because they said that their monthly active users decreased by 1% in May. But what we're seeing on our data is that they're starting to, that buzz is starting to build again. Those gameplay mentions are starting to build again. And so this isn't a case where, okay, it was a fad and now it's dying off. This is something that's showing that continued growth. So honestly, we view any pullbacks, any dips, as accumulation opportunities moving forward.
Good stuff. VP of Research, LikeFolio.com, Megan Brantley. Thanks as always. Have a great weekend. Have a great weekend as well to Evelyn Baker, TD Ameritrade Network contributor. And